everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies Podcast. We're really excited. We have a special episode of Talking Heartland today. We're doing another Heartland interview today. Really excited to be talking with Mallory herself. Jessica Amlee is here. And Jessica, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to be talking about Heartland and
I
season
know.
2, which is a big throwback for me. The good old days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been watching we started a couple months ago doing these recaps every week, and we're already in the middle of we're getting towards the middle to the end of season 2, and we've all agreed that the three of us that have been doing the podcast all agree that you're our favorite.
Oh, you're just saying that.
No, I'm really not. It's true. You can listen to the episodes. We really like Mallory. We think she's so funny.
I loved being Mallory because she was some comic relief, and all of that was kind of left to me, so there was a lot to play with, especially, in season 2 I would have been 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a 13-year-old to, have the comedy part of the show was a good time.
Yeah, I bet it was really fun. Well, so in our interviews that we've been doing, we started out just talking about this crazy time of quarantine and just in how have you been handling it? Have you been doing any quarantine baking or puzzles or anything like that?
No, I feel like in the first couple months I started doing that, but actually I went to Target at the beginning of quarantine and all the puzzles were sold out. There was not one puzzle left. Like, they had wiped all the Uno cards, everything. I've been gardening, we started like a vegetable garden. We're just trying to keep it alive because in Los Angeles it's so hot right now that all the plants are dying. So we're trying to keep them alive.
I feel like everything has just been one problem after another in Los Angeles. And my friends who are in, it's just like, get out now while you can.
I know.
One thing after another.
Well, people are, because it's been 7 months, people are starting to go out, and that's where I think it gets dangerous.
Well, they just had the fires, and then there's there's the mild earthquake. Then there was, it just seems like
I didn't even feel the earthquake. I was outside sitting on the porch, and it was a pretty big one too. And the air, like the air quality in Los Angeles is not the best to begin with.
Right.
And then let's sprinkle in fires just covering our skies. So yeah, it's best to stay indoors right now. That would be my best advice.
You're like, I didn't need the reminder to stay indoors. I already have been.
Right.
Very much.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy here. It's definitely 2020 is a weird year for everybody.
Yeah. How long have you been in LA?
I moved to Los Angeles in February 2013, so 7 years now.
Yeah.
I basically went straight from Calgary filming Heartland to moving to Los Angeles because I was 18, and so I could finally be on set by myself, and so that was a good transition to kind of learn how to be on my own and live on my own. Because Calgary I had a good family there with the cast and crew, and so it was a good time to learn how to be independent on my own, and my mom didn't have to come to set for the first time in 15 years, and so it was really nice.
Yeah.
Although I missed my mom, I miss my mom so much.
I know. How did you first get started acting?
So when I was 5 years old, I watched a lot of Mary-Kate and Ashley movies, like Billboard Dad and all their mystery movies, and I told my mom I wanted to be like Mary-Kate and Ashley, and so she didn't really know what that meant because none of my family was in the industry, and we didn't know any actors because we're in a small town in British Columbia. And so my dancing studio had an agency next door called Real Kids Talent. And so we started there with Gary Dirksen, and we went to a lot of auditions. and I wasn't booking anything, and me and my mom didn't really understand the point of it because I was starting to miss school. I mean, we were doing auditions every day, and I remember it was either swimming lessons or acting, and so I picked acting, which ended up being a good choice, because I'm not an Olympic swimmer by any means. And
Yeah.
so finally, after tons of auditions, we had one last audition. It was for French's French Fried Onions, and I booked it, and then I didn't stop working from there. I did about 55 commercials by the time I was 12.
Wow.
And so I quit commercials. And so I started TV when I was about 7 or 6. I think 6 was my first television appearance. I played an angel in my
Oh,
mother's dreams. So that was a good introduction to the, the TV and
yeah.
film industry. And then I did a pilot for CBC called Left Coast. And it was about a wealthy family. It was almost like a Schitt's Creek scenario. It's about a wealthy family who loses all their money and they buy a farm. And that would have been in 2007, 2006. And that pilot didn't get picked up because another pilot called Heartland got picked up. And so they had already shot the pilot. And so they needed a younger character for the show, someone who, because I think Amy's character was like 15 and they wanted a 12-year-old. And so I met with, because the producers liked me in Left Coast, and so they wanted me to play Mallory in Heartland, but Heather wasn't sure. And Heather Conkey is the showrunner and the creator, writer of the show. And so me and her met up, and we got along really well, and I loved the character Mallory. And so I started filming, and then they just shot a scene of me outside in this bright orange bubble vest, and they just added that into the pilot. So I'm technically in the first episode, but I actually wasn't there for the filming
Oh,
of it.
interesting. Huh, that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's interesting to know. Yeah, we interviewed Heather a few last year. Yeah, we interviewed Heather last year, and that was really fun. She's
Heather's so
awesome.
sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's such a good person. I got to know her really well through the 10
Yeah.
years of being on set, and she was always calm, collected,
Mm-hmm.
and overly sweet.
Do you remember when you were doing all those commercials and things as a little kid? Do you remember what it was that you liked about acting?
I loved everything. I loved the crew. I loved the food. I loved being on set. I loved more than anything playing with the toys. And I think that's what, made me successful in commercials is I wasn't pretending to like these toys. I was
Yeah.
really enjoying playing with Barbies and strawberry shortcake kids and all that stuff that it could relay on camera. And I also was doubled up with the same girls. Like one of them was Nicole Munoz. We did a lot of campaigns. We probably did 15 commercials together. And so she became one of my best friends. So I was able to also be on set with friends, and the clothes, the makeup, the hair. I loved all
Mm-hmm.
of it.
That's
I
great.
miss
That's
it
really interesting.
sometimes, commercials. Good times.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you homeschool or did you go to any regular school?
Right. My mom actually, once I started working a lot, and I was always in public elementary school, but my mom didn't want me to lose out on that part of my childhood. So she never homeschooled me. So even during Heartland in high school, they kind of set up, because they never had someone, be away from school that much. And so they set me up with learning guides. So if I had more than 3 days off on set, we would fly from Calgary, and I would attend school. So I was never homeschooled unless I was on set. And I thank my mom so much for that, because I mean, you can't replace that kind of experience with your peers,
Mm-hmm.
because I was on set with adults all the time, and I am who I am because I still have the same friend groups, and it definitely shaped me and helped me be a better actor because I wasn't just living the acting life 24/7. I was also a
Yeah.
kid.
That makes
And
sense.
actually, Alicia, because Thomas Haney, because they learned how to deal with me, as annoying as it was for them, the teachers, they were amazing. Alicia now goes to my old high school because they know how to do it. So
Oh, nice.
Alicia can, still have the high school experience too.
Hmm.
I thought that was cool
Yeah, that is cool. That's really cool.
because Jake didn't come in till season 2. Is Jake in season 2 yet?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he
he is.
is.
Yeah, we'll ask about
Is
that.
that all the buckle bunny stuff?
Yeah.
Um, buckle bunny? Yeah, buckle
The
bunny.
yeah. uh,
Jeez.
that's
But yeah,
funny.
it was hard, like being around adults. But I mean, I did my best to fit in with Amber and Graham and Carrie James. And they were so nice to me because I was so much younger. But I basically just follow them around and listen to everything that they're saying and copy that because they were just the cool kids.
Yeah.
So
So
I
yeah,
tried my best to fit in.
good. So Mallory is quite the little chatterbox, and so I was
Oh
wondering
yeah.
if that was a challenge for you learning all those lines.
No, I'm very lucky that I don't have problems with lines. I do have a partial photographic memory, so once I learn the line on paper, I can see it in my head, which is really handy.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really had a problem because Mallory was so fluid with what she was saying that it was like everything she said was almost like a story, and so I actually enjoyed the paragraphs and whatnot because
Mm-hmm.
that's you can play around more and you can do more with a lot to say, and Mallory had a lot to say
Yeah.
about everything and everyone.
Yeah, she did. Do you have a favorite Mallory dynamic? I was thinking Mallory and Jack are pretty
Oh,
fun. Mallory and
Mallory and
Ty.
Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, Mallory and Jack. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
me and Sean had so much fun with our banter and me always harassing him about like, he's drinking too much coffee or
Yeah.
that was fun, just because of our age difference and our personality differences. I always had the most fun with Sean as Jack.
Yeah.
I'm
And
grateful for that on TV relationship.
yeah, it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. We just not too long ago did the episode where she's really irritated with him about the air conditioning.
Oh
And
yeah, she's sticking her head in the fridge.
uh-huh. That was a funny
She's like,
one.
"You're killing me, Jack."
Yeah.
Oh man, that
That
gives me
was
such nostalgia.
yeah. And by the end of the episode he's got his head in the freezer. She's like, "What?"
Right. She catches him, right?
Yeah, yeah. It
Oh, and
was
she takes
so
like an
funny.
ice bath, and she's like, finally. Oh no, and they throw her into a trough. I'm pretty
That's
sure
right.
Carrie James or Graham threw me into a water trough. That was a really fun day on set because it was hot and it was fun for us because we were actually having a water fight.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That, that, that,
Yeah.
that was fun. Although I
That
was
one.
worried about the bin. I was like, have you guys cleaned that in a while? I was like,
Right.
don't throw me in that trough. Is it clean? They're like, it's clean, Jessica. It'll be fine. Okay.
So yeah, you and Ty, I do think it was when you're going off to the boarding school and you kiss Ty. That was a pretty funny scene, I thought.
Oh, that was absolutely nerve-wracking for me.
Yeah.
And like he would have been Graham, I think, well, he was definitely my first like on-screen kissing anybody. But he might have been like my third kiss. I was so nervous, and Graham is such a sweetheart. He took me aside and sat me down and was just like, just it's all make believe. Don't feel awkward about it. Like, and he was, oh my gosh, he calmed me down. I was like, okay, okay. He's like, you're just kissing your friend. That's all you're doing. And I was like, is this even legal? They're like, it's okay, you'll be fine. And you know, because Grant was so cute and I looked up to him so much, and so it was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I hope it came across funny and cute, but
It totally
for me,
did. Yeah.
for me personally, poor Graham. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, what a situation.
I just loved when when the Hollywood diva, Hollywood movie star is there, and they come into the cabin, and Lou's saying, "Oh, you know, nobody's ever slept in these sheets, and there is Mallory there."
Oh my
That was so
goodness.
funny. So
I forgot
funny.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that cabin was so beautiful out there. I loved shooting at
Hmm.
the log cabins, because I mean it was on a pond. It was so beautiful. Um yeah, that was
Yeah.
a great location.
Yeah, like I could just stay here.
I would stay there. They might
Yeah.
find Jessica in the beds because they're all actual cabins. I mean,
Hmm.
put a little heater in there and
Sure.
you're good to go. They'll
Yeah.
find me there. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they're
not a
filming
bad
right
way
now,
to
so it'll
spend
be
quarantine.
awkward. Yeah, exactly. It's worse
Uh,
places to be, like at Los Angeles.
That's right. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsors for this episode of the podcast. They are the good folks over at Care of, and they've been a sponsor for us for quite a little while, and we're very grateful to them. And they have high quality products, meets personalization. I think that's what makes them special. And all of Care of's products are formulated with good for you, clean ingredients that are backed by science. And they are super transparent about the research and sourcing behind all of their products. And you get individualized recommendations that come in daily individual wrapped packets that are perfect for getting back into a routine. We all are sort of struggling with that right now, and you have, even has your name on it. They're very individualized, and the way that they become individualized is they start you off with you taking their 5-minute online quiz. And this quiz, it asks you about your lifestyle, your belief in vitamins, how you feel about that, your lifestyle, your skepticism, your health concerns, all that stuff are taken into effect. And then you are given with your recommendations for what you should be taking. And that's very, very helpful. And you can adjust your pack at any time. It's like having a one-on-one consultation with a nutritionist, all without leaving your house. And I know when I took the quiz, I was able to narrow down to my sleep needs as being my highest priority. So I was able to get some of the Dream Team on the go quick sticks, and those have melatonin as well as other properties that are good for helping you to sleep, and they've been great. It's a wonderful service that they offer and makes things quick and easy. You can have it delivered, you can have it on a regular basis, or you can individually order your vitamins. Important for all of us right now with fall coming on that we fall back into a healthy routine. As the season changes, it's important to get ahead of taking care of your immune health. It takes about 30 days for your body to adapt to new nutrients. So now is a great time to update your vitamin and wellness routines to help support your immune system this fall. Care of's products go beyond vitamins and supplements to include protein powders and boosts to help supplement your workouts as you move indoors in the colder months. So you will really find it helpful. For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. That's new code. So go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmark. So Mallory and Jake, uh, they've started in, I think it's mostly season 2, and so far I don't think he was in season 1. I can't remember, but anyway, pretty fun. I like their dynamic, and the whole episode where we just did not too long ago, where she tries to ghost him. And she basically says, like, I don't like you in the same way that you like me, but then when he leaves, then she misses him. And
Right.
just because I didn't want you all the time doesn't mean I don't want you at all. It was really cute.
Right. Like, where have you been? Well, so Jake was actually on set for season 1 because his grandpa is John Scott, who owns all the horses for Heartland. John Scott's a
Oh,
huge horse guy. He did Lord of the Rings. He does like all the horse work. Um, And so Jake would be on set, taking care of the horses as a wrangler. And when they wanted Mallory to have a love interest, I knew Jake on set. So I was like, is it going to be Jake? Is it going to be Jake? And because Jake is Jake. And so like, it was kind of a dead giveaway that they were going to hire Jake for the job. And,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of how it started. So Jake was an actual cowboy, which was cool because he
Mm-hmm.
could give me all the tips and tricks. And yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful that Jake ended up being cast as Jake, because Jake and I mean, we're still friends. I mean, we were texting a couple days ago. I mean, we're still really very close, and so that worked out really nicely.
Yeah, that's great. So, as far as the horses, did you have, before you started at Heartland, did you have experience with horses for the
I
show?
did. I was lucky enough that I did. My parents used to have horses. I was just telling a friend, actually, the first time I was ever on a horse, I was like 6 months old, and I was on my mom's lap, and the horse bucked us off, and my mom landed flat on her back holding me up in the air.
Oh my gosh.
And I was fine. She wasn't, but I was completely fine. But yeah, that was my first experience on a horse. And then I started taking lessons when I was probably, my best friend, actually, Madeline, bought a horse. And I started taking lessons when I was about 9. I was about 9 years old, and I started Western, English, and then bareback is kind of. And then by that time, I was pretty comfortable being on a horse. And so when Heartland asked, I was like, yep. And I could do some dressage, vaulting. And so I think I was prepared. But, when you're playing a character like Mallory, who rides, every day and stuff, I had to take lessons like twice a week during filming,
Hmm.
because it
So,
was important to have the perfect posture and everything.
yeah, that makes sense. So, did you actually like practice on copper? Did you work with copper, or was that
I
more just
I
for
did
filming?
I did actually. They would have Copper's name is Midget, and they would have Midge every once in a while come out and train. Just so, I mean, Midge was the most professional horse, and all John Scott's horses. I mean, they're smarter than I ever was. Remember, there was a thunderstorm while we were shooting one time, and me and Graham actually both got because we were wearing wires, and we both got electrocuted up the horse's hooves straight up into our hats. And I remember
Oh
we
my
could
gosh.
either wait for a van to come pick us up and take us back to circus where we keep the trailers and stuff, or we could ride back, which would take about 5 minutes. It was so wet and it was so cold. And my mom's like, get my daughter off that horse. And I was like, I'm just going to ride back. And I remember I just put my head down and I hunched over and I kicked Midge, and Midge just started running and took me exactly to where I needed to go. It was incredible.
That
These
is great.
horses were just so well trained.
Wow.
I miss Midge.
Yeah. Did you, so you did most of your own, they didn't have like, I'm sure they must have had some kind of stunt for some
Oh,
parts.
for sure. There was a lot of, like, when Mallory was learning to jump. I don't think that's in season 2, but Mallory starts taking lessons and stuff. And for the falls and stuff, I always had a stunt double. I don't even think I was allowed to do jumps, although I could. They wouldn't let me at the time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just
Right now, she
just
just
for
really
safety.
wants Amy to teach her how to jump, but Amy says she doesn't have time and she's not doing it yet, but she really wants to. To
I really don't know if she ever does. I mean, I'm
mhm.
not gonna give anything away,
Okay.
but
And
yeah, I'll just
also
leave it
because
at that.
Copper's not a jumping horse, I think is the problem.
Right. And
Uh,
so she probably wants to ride Spartan, and she's like, you're not
yes,
touching my
that's it.
horse.
That's right. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So that was something you felt pretty comfortable with though, then on the horses.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was great. We had so much fun in the
Hmm.
riding scenes because the scenery is so beautiful and the horses are so awesome. And You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best part of set. I was always happy when it was a riding day.
How did they make the horses uh when they have to be like hurt or sick or that kind of a thing? With obviously they're not actually going to make the horses sick or hurt. How do they do that?
Cosmetic makeup. Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
one of the horses, I think it was like Burns. And it was just makeup, and the horses, they'll just stand there. They're not bothered by it at all. And all the makeup they used on the horses was pet friendly. So that would be all the makeup team. And
Mm-hmm.
the when a horse was sick, they would have to lay the horse down, and that's always an effort to get a horse to be like fully on its side. And so
Yeah.
sometimes we would get like one shot of that, and then the rest we would just use like a fake horse.
Oh, because we just watched not too long ago the episode where Spartan eats the pesticide. Um,
Oh, he
uh,
starts foaming or something, right?
yeah, and then is really sick, and Mallory is feeling really bad about it. She went out
Right.
on him, and I was like, how did they get a horse to do that?
The foam was what was the foam? It was like literally water and something else. It was all like, food stuff, but it basically just started a foam, like basically like toothpaste.
Hmm. Yeah,
Was kind of, I don't remember exactly what they used, but I remember it looking real.
yeah. I mean, they do a really good job. That's for
They
sure.
do. I
Yeah.
remember them doing that. I
Hmm.
don't know how they did it though. That was definitely like special effects from the props department,
Hmm.
I would think.
Yes. So we haven't gotten to Badger, but I'm told I have to ask you, what do you think? Who do you think is a better fit for Mallory, Badger, or Jake?
Well, I think at the time for Mallory, Badger was because he's the bad boy,
Hmm.
um, rebel without a cause kind of, and Mallory's the geeky kind of nosy busybody. And so I think that it actually, like, just like how in real life, if you date someone that's different than you, it makes you change. And so I think it was part of Mallory's development to date Badger. um but I mean, Jake was always Mallory's. It was just like, leave me alone, leave me alone. But as soon as he's not there, she's like, where's Jake?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that continues
Oh, that's good. That's good.
in a big way. I mean, it's hard for me to talk about season 2 and that question, because
Sure.
if you watch the last episode, I was in, I think, season 12. It would be very obvious who should be with Mallory.
Hmm. What's one of your favorite things about Mallory as a character?
She was so honest. She is so honest and blatant, and she cares so much about everybody. I think that by her like messing things up and losing things, and it always kept things interesting, even when it was a negative thing she was doing. It was always with good intentions. And that's what I love about Mallory, is her sarcasm, her humor, and her need to be in everybody's life and to be accepted and wanted by the family, because Mallory doesn't have that strong of a connection with her parents, and so she relies on the Bartletts as a family, and the
Hmm.
Flemings.
Yeah.
That would be my favorite part, is how much she cares about everybody.
Yeah, I like that too. And she's just really honest and sincere.
To a fault.
Yeah, to a fault.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she keeps everybody from taking everything so seriously all the time.
Right.
So,
Sometimes I would read the scripts and see what Mallory's doing. I'm like, Mallory, stop it. What are you doing? Just leave it alone. But she can't. She can't. There's no stopping her.
yeah. Well, and so Heartland has really grown, and from this show in Canada to now, there's fans all over the world. Of course,
Right.
people can watch it on Netflix or things. What has that been like for you to see it kind of grow and expand? Do people recognize you? Do people see you, and you meet fans?
Yeah, I mean, I do look different from when I started the show, so it really depends on like what season people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I still get, even in Los Angeles, I've been recognized from Heartland, because there is a big horse community here.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like when we got the ratings back of like how many people were viewing the show, I remember it was like season one, like we were like in episode like 3, and we had like 270,000 people viewed, and I remember just being blown away. I could not. I mean, this is before we knew that the show would go on as long as it would. The longest running Canadian television show. So even for us to get picked up for season 2 is like, wow, like this is
Yeah.
huge. Like we get a second season, and then the numbers started like skyrocketing. And so even back then we started noticing, oh, people are really viewing this. Now we have 1 million people watching the show. And I remember we'd be on set, and I think it was Michelle who said this. She was like, imagine, like right now when we're filming, she's like, imagine an audience, a physical audience of 1 million people watching right now. And that's when it hit me. I was like, whoa, like, because you don't
Crazy.
see the people that are watching the show, but when you think about it, the pressure, I think, went a little up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was exciting, and we also wanted to represent Canada to the best of its ability, and
Mm-hmm.
still be marketable in other countries. So we kind of leave out, names of cities, and we have like fake town names and stuff like that, just so it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
Right.
that's what people connect with is the small town anywhere.
Right. It could just as easily be Texas, or even, you're in Utah or any place where you have a
Right.
ranch. So,
Right. And
yeah.
we do have a good following in Texas and the southern states,
Mm,
because there's not a ton of family horse shows.
right.
Like the last one I remember was the Saddle Club, and that
Right.
was for kids primarily, whereas Heartland is any age range. You can watch Heartland.
Right. Yeah, that's the nice
But
thing
yeah,
about the
when I
show.
started getting, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say that's the nice thing about the show is that you can watch with the whole family, and
Right.
uh, and everybody can connect with it, whether it's the teenagers, whether it's younger, whether it's people really into Jack's character.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody that for everybody that could like it and enjoy it.
Right. And, there wasn't a ton of shows that I could call up my great grandma and say, hey,
Hmm.
grandma, Heartland's on tonight. I mean, that's something that I'll carry with me forever, that I never had to worry about risky stuff or
Hmm.
swearing or anything like that, because it was always safe on
Right.
Heartland. The worst thing I ever said was, oh my God. And then I like begged them to change it to, oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Because I was like, is that offensive? I mean,
Right.
that was the worst. So, I mean, considering that, I mean, it's pretty incredible that, anyone could watch Heartland and I could be proud of it,
Yeah,
which was the most important thing.
definitely. Well, do you have any new projects that you want to talk about, that you want to tell us about?
Well, in the beginning of this year, before quarantine, I shot a indie called The Runner, and I'm hoping it'll get out soon. That one was about an underage kid basically, selling drugs, and then he becomes a police informant, and I play
Oh,
his
okay.
girlfriend. I really like the script, and I hope it comes out soon, so I
Cool.
can still stay in the loop of things. Um, and yeah, I'm working. I'm creating a short right now, and I'm just finishing it up. So I hope to be getting it in production. It's called Coffee and Vape. It's a play on coffee and cigarettes.
Hmm.
Um, It's like for modern day, so it's basically just coffee talk conversations with different almost stereotypes of Los Angeles.
That sounds good.
So I'm excited to be on the
Great.
production end of things.
Yeah. Cool. Is that something you're writing?
Yeah, I mean, I've written it. I'm just in the final details of it currently.
Great. Well, that's great. You have to keep us posted on how things go.
I will.
Well,
Thank you.
we like to end our interviews with just some fun, silly questions. So the first question, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Cookie dough.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Thank you.
All right. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Good. What music are you into right now?
Ooh, I'm on Apple Music. There's a 70s essential love songs.
Ooh.
And so any one of those songs is my favorite right now. I'm going through a 70s phase.
Ooh, so like Carpenters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Very
the
good.
good stuff. Love will keep us together, you know?
Yeah, that's right. All right. Back when we could go out in public, what is your go-to date night food?
Ooh, I like modern cuisine, I guess. Like I like interesting things. I also love oysters. I love seafood. Yeah, there's so many good restaurants in LA, and some of them are still open as long as they're outside. So
yeah, that is one nice thing about California is you can do the outside easier than other places.
Right, because it's not freezing cold.
Right.
So
no. What is your go-to date night activity? Back when we could go out.
Date night activity. I mean, it would be I miss going to the movies so badly. I would kill to go see a movie. But I also like bowling, playing pool.
Ooh,
but I miss the movies.
Are you a good bowler?
I am a sufficient bowler. So good. No. Yeah, the answer is no.
I know. I miss the movies so much. I mean, we've actually had them open here in Utah for a little while, but just with so few releases coming out, it's tough. And,
right, exactly.
And they just announced today that the Bond movies moved. Upon recording, they just announced that it's moving to April. I'm like, I don't know how the movie theaters are going to survive.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking they should even be showing older movies and then just sell the tickets for hire and then have the theater only, a quarter full.
Yeah.
So they can still stay alive and people still can see movies.
They're trying stuff like that, but hopefully that will be enough to keep it so that they can, I was saying, are there going to be movie theaters for them to show it in April? I'm like getting a little concerned,
right?
But it's what can you do? But
exactly, I wish there was something.
I know, and I'm with you. I miss it so much. I mean, I used to go to easy 3-4 movies a week, and so I miss it a lot. But
me too.
Have you been binging anything fun?
I binged Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah.
I'm so proud of CBC. I mean, it's an incredible show. I've also been binging Blacklist. I love Blacklist.
Oh, okay.
Succession is one of my favorite shows on the planet. It's an HBO show.
Yeah, it's got a lot of Emmys.
Good. That's what I heard. And they deserved all those Emmys. And I also heard Schitt's Creek got an Emmy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That could be the first CBC show to win an Emmy.
Yeah. So what do you prefer, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay. Beaches or mountains?
Ooh. See, I'm from Vancouver, so we have the beaches and the mountains. So I'm going to say
spoiled.
Both.
Okay.
I don't think that's an answer, but I'm going to have to go because there's nothing more beautiful than being at the beach, the ocean, and looking up and seeing mountains.
Yeah, it's true. Would you rather be in a fancy dress or wearing sweats?
I mean, I guess it depends how I feel and where I'm going. If I'm going to a fancy restaurant and I'm in sweatpants, I probably prefer a fancy dress. But if I'm at home in a prom dress, I'd probably prefer sweatpants.
Yeah. Yeah. I love going out. I mean, especially these days, I miss it. So,
Right. We took it for granted all
I
that
know we
time.
did. We did.
What a mistake.
So, what is your favorite holiday to celebrate? Like
Christmas because
yeah.
of family, but Halloween I think is the most fun. But
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is everything.
Yeah, Christmas is, it's hard to beat Christmas, but I do enjoy Halloween. I'm trying to make it as good as possible this year because we probably won't get any trick-or-treaters or anything.
That's what
like
I was
that.
thinking. Maybe I'll just keep a reserve amount of candy, but I seriously doubt we'll be hearing any knocks on the door.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So what is your favorite romantic movie, like a rom-com?
My favorite rom-com, maybe like 20 Things I Hate About, or 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's a good one.
I feel like it's definitely When Harry Met Sally. That is by far my favorite rom-com.
That's a good one. It's a very good one.
That takes the cake for me. I love Billy Crystal in that movie.
Very good. All right, you passed the test.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I feel like I got a 50%.
No, you did good. You did good. So do you have social media or anything like that you want to share, or website or anything like that?
I do have a website, jessicakelseyamlee.com, and I do have an Instagram, and it's Jessica Kelsey Amlee.
Great.
And a Twitter.
We'll put links to all that in the description. People will make sure to follow you. And thank you so much for coming on. This was really fun. And maybe once we get further down at the, we're going to take a hiatus during Christmas from Talking Heartland, so because we have so many Christmas movies to cover. But then we'll be back.
Goodness, yes.
We'll be back on it. We're going to try to get the whole thing before the new season. New season airs next fall. Well, it'll be hard because there's so many seasons, but we're going to try. But anyway, maybe we can have you back on once we get to the later seasons and we could talk about that. That would be fun.
I would love that.
Yeah. When your later seasons, that would be fun.
And maybe Jake can join in on the call.
Ooh, that would be fun. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be great. Well, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. And we will be in touch, and let us know if you're listening. Let us know what you think of all the things we talked about in the comment section or on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we really appreciate you giving up your time to talk with us.
Oh, I had so much fun, and I hope all the Heartland fans out there are doing well. And I hope to be back because this was fun. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right. We'll talk to you all later, and be safe, everybody. We'd like to thank Jessica for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with her. Make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. We'd love to hear you there. If you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that this time of year, especially so that people can find the podcast. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much as well. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. We have our Patreon group, which is really fun. And we talk all different kinds of shows, and we really enjoy it. We talk Heartland, and we talk all the different movies and Heartland and whatever people want to talk about. We have a Patreon group that's really fun. So please check that out. Information in the description section. We also have our merch store, which has some Heartland inspired merch. So please check that out in the description. All the links are in there. So thanks so much again to Jessica, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.